everybody. Welcome to another chapter of the book of Sean. How y'all doing? It's good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm absolutely excited about what we're going to do tonight. I got some great Ask Dr. Sean questions. Always do great headlines with you. My dear sister Ronique is here. Yes. Listen, let me tell you something. She is going to allow us to talk about something very important. Because when you are going through life and you're carrying everybody, and you're serving everybody and helping everybody, what do you do for yourself? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes life can be overwhelming. And let's just be serious. Let's be honest right now. All of us have had a moment when life was just a little overwhelming. Well, how do you fix that? How do you keep yourself from not going down into that over and over again? We got to break that cycle. And my sister's here tonight, Ronique, and I'm going to help her, encourage her, inspire her to break that cycle and to make time for her. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because you got to make time for you, people. You can't give everything to everybody and expect anything to happen good for yourself. Because if you ain't good to you, ain't nobody else going to do it. Let me not start preaching because it's early. Let's do some headlines. So I'm sure you guys heard of how the students in New York City, high school students in New York City, staged a walkout from classes recently because of inadequate COVID measures. And the high school students in New York City, many of them, a bunch of them said that they wanted better protections and they wanted better processes taken to make sure that they were safe. And they just didn't feel safe in those classrooms with Omicron and Delta and all the COVID going around. And these students in New York City coordinated via social media to stage this walkout. And they walked out of the class because they said they wanted a better set of protections for their health and for their safety and for the safety of the people that they live with and love. And they're absolutely right, by the way, all right? But they're not just right about wanting better protections against COVID. They're also right about the fact that they should probably be getting a better education. That's the part where you say amen, because you know I'm right. High school students in New York City and across the country, for that matter, are not getting the kind of education that our children deserve. We are poorly educating our children because we only hire teachers who fail at doing the other stuff they really wanted to do. Uh-oh. Put your seatbelt on, people. It's about to get real. I'm just saying, we got to take, how come we don't pay teachers what we pay basketball players? How come we don't play teachers what we pay football players? Which is more important, the guy dribbling a ball down a court or somebody standing in a classroom teaching your children how to think and live and function and read and write and do math? Which one is more important to you? In America, what's more important, obviously, is the guy dunking the basketball because we pay him multi-million dollars and we pay the teacher, what, 40,000? I'm just saying. Our children should be empowered to read and to think. No child in New York City or any other city for that matter, quite frankly, anywhere in the world, should not be at reading grade level. If you're in the third grade, you should be able to read at the third grade level. If you're in the 12th grade, you should be able to read at that level. But I bet you across this country, that's not the case. And what we've done in education in this country is we've made it synonymous that if you pass a test, then you've done well. Please understand right now that passing a test does not make you educated. Teach, Dr. Sean. It just means that you're good at taking tests. You can pass all the tests you want. That does not mean that you have a command of anything, that your intellectual capacity has grown in any way. You're just good at remembering things. You can take a test really well. You follow what I'm saying? Education cannot be reduced down to a test. We ought to stop doing that. Most high school students, and most adults for that matter, 2-3, don't know what the three branches of government are. 2-3 sitting over there. I mean, most high school students and most adults for that matter don't know the political difference between Thurgood Marshall and Martin Luther King. And there was a difference between both of them. They both wanted the same thing, but they both wanted to do it differently. Most high school students don't know the difference because they were only educated to take a test, not educated to reason, to think, to analyze, to articulate. And let me be bereft of words if I fail to mention that the true measure of education is not what you know in your head, is also what you become in your character. Character should be a part of education. Ignorance is killing America, people. That's the point I'm really trying to make. Ignorance is killing America. And these kids who walked out of this school because they wanted better protections, they ought to also demand a better education. Because what's killing America isn't gay people, it's not Mexicans, it's not immigrants, and it damn sure ain't black folks. What's killing America is ignorance, stupidity. People who don't know nothing and revel in it and want to make you feel like you're an elitist because you dare to read a book. You're not an elitist. You just choose not to be ignorant. And that's what most people should choose in this country. If this country falls apart, it won't be because the Russians did it or the Chinese did it or whoever, pick a country, did it. It'll be because this country decided willfully, to the clapping of hands, to go down a road into the bliss of ignorance and stupidity. Good to see young people taking COVID seriously, by the way. Let me just say that. Because a lot of young people of a certain age are not taking it seriously. So it's good to see the young people in New York City, high school students, they're taking it seriously. And here's the wisdom, because I got to move on. Here's the wisdom. Here's the wisdom we get from these high school kids. You ready? Stand up for yourself. If you're not getting what you need, if you're not being protected the way you need to be protected, stand up for yourself. Don't let people treat you any kind of way and you sit there and take it. You ain't got to take it. You know what you can do? You can get up just like them and you can walk out. Let's move on. Did you guys hear about the Michigan judge? A judge in Michigan shamed and slammed a 72-year-old man, for not taking care of his lawn. And there he is. His name is Brahan Chowdhury Hurry. And Brahan Chowdhury Hurry went to court and tried to explain to the judge that because he has cancer and that because of his cancer treatments, it left him too weak to tend to his lawn. So the judge, who you see right there, her name is Alexis Grott. Alexis Grott proceeded in the courtroom to shame him, literally shame him, for not taking care of his lawn. Now, the man told her that he has cancer and he's dealing with the treatments and he's weak, right? And what she failed to realize is if the man can't stand, if he's too weak to stand up, he's probably also too weak to take care of his lawn. She didn't give a damn. She shamed him and slammed him in court. Because, of course, your lawn is the most important thing you're thinking about. It's the most important thing in your life when you have cancer, right? Oh, yeah. When you get cancer, the only thing you're thinking about is how your damn lawn looks. You know what I'm saying? What in the world is wrong with people, 2-3? Ronique, I know you can't say nothing yet, but what's wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Where people have forgotten, like, what the main thing should be. Have we lost any sense of what's ultimately important? You're going to shame a man who's fighting for his life. You care more about his lawn than his life. Oh my God. I bet you all the money in my pocket against all the money in your pocket that if you got cancer, the most important, on the top of your list would not be how your lawn looks. I bet you all the money in my pocket against all the money in your pocket if that's the case. That if you ever got cancer, you would literally be thinking about fighting for your life. Fighting for your life. And let me say this real quick. You have no idea how many people around you that you pass every single day in your life, around your life, who are simply fighting for their lives. You have no idea how many people you pass on the subway, on the street, wherever it is, who are simply just trying to survive. They are one insult away, one shame away from losing it all. You have no idea how many people you work with who are one disappointment away from just cussing everybody out. People are just trying to survive. They're just trying to live. They're just trying to make it from one day to the next. And here is a judge who's going to shame a man for not taking care of his lawn because he has cancer. You know, the lack of empathy is the great American sickness. The inability to see yourself as another, that is the great American sickness. The inability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes is what prevents this country from being as great as its promise. White folks need to put themselves in our shoes. Straight folks need to put themselves in the shoes of gay people. Men should put themselves in the shoes of women. Rich people should put themselves in the shoes of poor people and ask themselves, if this was my journey and my pair of shoes, how would I want to be treated? If I had cancer and I was struggling for my life, how would I want someone to treat me? How would I want someone to talk to me in this courtroom? That's what the judge forgot. She forgot that empathy is the currency that we pay for life. It's the tax we pay for living. Woo! fired up tonight, 2-3. I'm just trying to tell you, man. Listen, the man's lawn was a mess, but there was a story behind the messy lawn. And here's the wisdom for you. You ready? I'm going to move on. Here's the wisdom for you. Before you get mad and storm out of somebody's life because they did something that you don't like, maybe you should sit down long enough to hear the story. Listen to the story. Why did it happen? Where did it come from? What happened to them? Because if you just looked at the man's lawn, you would think one thing. But once you heard his story, him struggling with cancer, trying to fight for his life, you probably think something else. My invitation for you tonight, before you walk out on somebody, try to listen to what they're going through. Let's move on, 2-3. I'm running out of time. So, listen, I was reading the paper over the weekend, and I realized, I think I saw this in the Washington Post, that black people are leaving the North, man. More and more black people are going to the South. In Chicago alone, since 1990, 130,000 black people have left Chicago alone. Okay? 130,000 people have left Chicago. Now, I think that probably has more to do with the weather and the fact that we come from Africa. Because Chicago is cold as hell. Okay? I live there, and it's cold. But anyway, black folks are leaving northern cities because black folks are finding out that racism isn't just in the South, it's everywhere. There's not a place in America where there's no racism. You follow what I'm saying? It's everywhere. And black folks are finding better opportunities for employment now in southern cities. Here's some of the cities that we're moving to: Atlanta, Charlotte, San Antonio, Raleigh, Orlando, and Little Rock. 2-3, real quick. I draw the line at Little Rock. I'm not moving to Little Rock. I don't care how many of us are moving to Little Rock. Ain't no black person alive gonna convince me to move to Little Rock. I draw the line right there. I'm not moving to Arkansas. The devil is a lie. That ain't God. I'm not moving to Arkansas. Matter of fact, I'm from New York City. I'm born and raised. I'm a New York guy. I was born in New York, raised in New York. That's my sensibility. I cannot live in a town. I need a city. You hear me? I need coffee shops and bookstores. No, I can't live in no town. You know why I can't live in a town? Because people know your business in a little town. They know all your little business. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not holy altogether. The Lord is still working with me. Can't let everybody do everything. You know, in New York City, for example, you can literally get on the subway butt naked, and people won't even look up from their paper. That's what I need. Not getting on the subway butt naked. But you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, let me get off this. But here's what you guys should realize, right? Wherever you're moving to, whatever you're dealing with, here's what you should know. Wherever you go, the living ain't easy, okay? Whether you go to L.A., Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, the living ain't easy nowhere. So wherever you go, don't expect Wakanda. This is America, okay? There's a reason why your parents left the South and went to the North. There's a reason why you leaving the North and going back to the South, because this ain't Wakanda, and the living ain't easy. But I got some good advice for you. Wherever you go, whatever your address is, it don't matter. You know why? As long as you change your mind before you change your address, you can flourish wherever you are. You can bloom wherever you plant yourself. And that's the real prize, is that when you leave a place, you don't just leave your address or your geography, but you leave and you transform your spirit into a better and higher version of yourself. If you do that, you'll be great wherever you are. That's why I'm staying in L.A. Here's my last 1, 2, 3. All right, real quick, I can do this real fast. All right. I'm gonna go over a little bit. So Obamacare, let's talk. You guys remember Obamacare? Remember the Affordable Care Act? And the Republicans told us that when Obamacare came out, it was gonna be socialism, death panels, an end to freedom. The country was gonna fall apart. Obama was gonna get, and that's what they told us. Obamacare, and guess what happened over the last enrollment period? 14 million people enrolled into Obamacare over the last enrollment period, and a whopping 31 million people have enrolled for the entire life of the program. 31 million people. 31 million people is a lot of people, okay? 31 million people decided that the only way they could have peace of mind in the middle of a global pandemic was to have Obamacare, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they enjoyed a certain modicum of peace in the middle of a pandemic because they were covered. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't never had health insurance and gotten sick, you don't know that kind of stress. But some of us who are grown, we know what that feels like. But real quick, I'm going over. But real quick, let me say this real fast. Obama's not going to tell you I told you so, but Dr. Sean is. I didn't Obama tell y'all that if Americans got health care, quality health care, they would want it and they would value it and they would keep it. And guess what? 31 million people decided that's exactly what they wanted. We told you so. We told you that Obamacare was not going to kill the country, was not going to ruin the country. Come on, man. But here's my last point. Now I got to go to break. Don't let people box you into binary choices. It was never between health care or freedom. That was a false choice. You don't have to choose between one thing or another thing all the time. Sometimes you can have both. Sometimes you can have great health care and freedom. You can have love and respect. You can have a good life and a good job. Come on, Dr. Sean. Huh? You can have dignity and you can have dollars. Don't let other people reduce your choices down to what they think they should be. And all your choices, do what's good for you. And make sure you include yourself in all the choices you make. Okay, 2, 3, let's take a little break right now. When we come back, I'm talking to Ronique about life and the overwhelming factor of it all. Y'all think about them headlines while we're gone. We're right back. Welcome back, everybody. Obama told you so. I just like saying it. I don't know why I like saying that. Listen, man, let me explain something to you right now. I'm about to have a great conversation with Ronique Marshall, and I tell you why. Because she is so representative of how so many of us are carrying the burdens and the crosses and the loads that other people put on us, and some we volunteered for, right? Right? Because if you ain't carrying nothing, it means you sleep half the day. Everybody watching, including me and including you, we're all carrying something, and so is Ronique. And I can't wait to listen to her heart and her life. Welcome to the show tonight, Ronique Marshall. Hey, Ronique.
Hi, Dr. Sean. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I love your smile. I love your energy already. Yes, yes, yes. I'm here for good energy. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Me too.
Good,
Thank you
good.
for having me on your show.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And we're honored just to be able to listen to your life. And I promise you that I will treat your story and your journey with kindness and respect and with love. So you're in a safe place. I just honor, I honor black women, first of all, because, you all are the eighth wonders of the world. Um, no, real talk. But before we get into, all of the ins and outs of it all, I like to ask some questions that just sort of get to know your heart, your soul, your mind. And so my first couple of questions are just off the beaten path. Here's my first one. What were you like in high school?
Oh, wow. I was energetic. I was spontaneous, outspoken, loving, caring, sharing. I was like the mother of my crew.
Really?
Yes, yes. I was involved in the arts. I was in cheerleading, drill teaming, African dance, anything that had to do with arts. It was always have been a passion of mine. It was an outlet from my childhood life. That was like a safety net for me.
So you have always been a nurturer.
Yes, naturally, naturally.
Mm. And always been drawn to art and color and dance and music.
Yes, television and film, being a little girl, staying in my room for protection is where I felt safe watching those old school TV shows and movies and those those life stories of having a perfect life outside of living in the hood and the projects in the ghetto. It was wonderful. It
This,
gave me an imagination of that I can have something else outside of where I was.
I affirm that. I imagine, and those imaginative moments are important, right? They're significant. Which makes me want to ask you this: if you won $10 million, what would you do with it? What would you spend it on?
First of all, I invest in real estate. I'll create some foundations to help those who grew up like me, who struggled coming from broken homes, broken income, and just needed a better life. I'll provide mentors to help teach these young kids how to guide them down the right path, the right direction, to teach them about banking, the things that is need to be taught today as far as financial education, just self-awareness, because it's a lot of things that was taught to us in the school system that doesn't really relate to us today,
Yeah.
like credit, loans, banking, jobs, things to that nature. And it's sad because now that we're older, it's like, well, what was they teaching us in school? This doesn't relate to what's going
Listen,
on in today's
Ro,
world, the
Ro,
technology.
Ronique, your answer is way better than mine. You are clearly more saved and on your way to heaven than I am. Because my answer is I'm going right to the Range Rover dealership. You talking about helping kids? I ain't thinking about no kids yet. the first thing I'm doing is I'm buying me a Range Rover. Anyway, all right. So here I got two more of these. Who do you wish you were related to? Like which famous person or celebrity do you wish you were either the child of, the sister of, the brother of, whoever? Who?
I would say Michelle Obama.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Yes.
I mean, I would normally ask you why, but that's pretty obvious, right? She's just amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's a phenomenal woman. She's a leader, you know, she's a mother, she's a wife, she's driven, and people look up to her. She have class, she have style, she have integrity, and she's just phenomenal.
I see a pattern with you already that I love. And the pattern
What is
that,
that?
well, I'm going to be honest. I hear a pattern that I love, and I hear one that concerns me. Which one you want first?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. The pattern that I love is that you think about people. You have substance. There's a heft and a gravitas to your life. The pattern that concerns me is that I want you to laugh more. I want you to be lighter. I want you to uh, not be so invested, right? And not be so helpy and so there for other people that you are not sufficiently there for you. Now I've only listen. We've only been talking for 5 minutes, right? But I'm hearing. I listen when I do this show. I listen for patterns. I listen for what people are saying over and over again. So I'm going to see if the pattern continues. All right. Let's get into your story because you told our producer something that just stuck out to me, and I wanted to ask you about it right away. You mentioned to my producer that you felt at some point your life derailed. And I think you used that word, if I got that correctly. What did you mean by that?
Well, Dr. Sean, that's why I'm here. I'm here because I feel like I have not lived my life yet. I have not begun my life. I was a mother at the age of 16. I was married by 18. I had my second child by 22. And I've been nurturing and caring for my children as a single mom. My daughter, on the other behalf, have come out with mental health issues, which is what I've been battling with since 2008, since we recognized her issues in school and different home behavior, the trauma she's experienced at school once we moved back from Atlanta to Oakland. And it's just been a roller coaster. It's been a headache. It's been depressing. I had many, sad nights due to her mental behavior. And I just feel like I haven't had the moment to live for Ronique. When do Ronique start living? When do I start pursuing my career? Why do I have to drop out of college and turn jobs and opportunities down being a single mom because my child is not getting the right resources, the right help she needs, and it's overbearing me due to the fact that I'm not only caring for her, I'm caring for my disabled mom, as well as, my son who he's very independent and well off. So obviously the trait from her mental health came from the dad, you know. So I'm just speaking, very transparent and real. And it's overwhelming because I'm getting older. When do I start securing my future? When do I start setting up for Ronique Marshall? I am allowed to have my dreams come true, right? And prosper, right? And let I have not yet learned to care for Ronique and care for myself, which is killing me. I feel buried. I'm not growing into the woman and the person I know who I can become because I'm so busy caring and nurturing and caring and giving. But when do it all happen for me? When do somebody give to me? When do all those seeds I'm planting come back to me?
No, I heard your heart in that. I did. And I promise you by the time that we're done with this conversation, I have an answer for you for that very question. I do have an answer for that very question. Um, but I also heard that your brother passed away.
My brother did pass away. He passed away in 2019, February 6th, in a car accident. It was strange because that morning, that night on February 5th, he had asked me to babysit his baby, his son, his junior. He was 6 months at the time, and he left us. And that night I was babysitting. I couldn't sleep for some odd reason. I was tossing and turning. The baby was up, and someone came knocking at the door February 6th that morning, 10 a.m., and told me they heard the news and they assumed my brother passed away in a car crash. And he was the only sibling I ever had. We were 7 years apart. Of course, I'm the oldest from the same mom and dad. And my heart dropped. It died. It died. I never had the chance to grieve. I never had the alone time to suck it in, to really mentally adjust to him being gone, because he was like my first kid, my first son. Due to our childhood and our upbringing, I had to mother him and nurture him because my mother wasn't, given some of the mother skill sets due to her mother passing away at an early age. And as I talked to her throughout the years and learned what's really going on and what was the trauma, she just didn't have it, and she just couldn't bear the fact that her mother died. So, me carrying my brother and him being like my first kid, my best friend, that hurt me to the core, because he was someone I can always lean on. I can count on. I know for sure if I got in any kind of situation, he's gonna come to my rescue and have my back, because he loved his big sister.
Yeah.
I've always been there for him.
Yeah. Monique, I heard you say that you've not had a chance to grieve. You haven't grieved?
Nope. Grieving, sometime you need time alone. I haven't had the chance to really just cry, scream, just really soak it in, because all my energy and time has always, as is today, been towards my daughter with the mental health issues. No one came and said, "Let me babysit your child."
Monique, stop. Because now I'm not going to let you leave grief and talk about anything other than this. I'm going to go over 1 minute on this break. Just hold on 1 second. If your brother was here right now, what would you say to him?
Baby, I'm so sorry and I love you, because I feel like some of it is my fault, because the career path I've had all these years and the opportunities that have been presented to me was for not just me, was for my family and my extended family. And I felt like it didn't happen soon enough for us to get out of Oakland and, out the hood in a safe environment, him away from the crowd he was hanging around, for him to be in that kind of situation, for it to occur.
So if he walked in right now and sat down next to you, and you could say one sentence to him, what would it be?
One sentence. I'll just say, "Baby, I love you."
Yeah. Listen, stay right there. I got to take this break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to Ronique more about just the journey, the story. I'm going to answer the question she asked, because that question does have an answer, and you deserve to hear it too. We'll be right back. Talking to Ronique Marshall. Ronique, listen, before we left, you really took us into what was for me a sacred place and a sacred conversation, as it relates to your brother and what you might say to him and what you wish you could still say to him. And I think along those lines, I also know that you take care of your mother. So it's bearing the grief of losing your brother. It's dealing with your daughter's mental health issues and challenges, right? And then you also take care of your mom. Did we get that right?
I take care of my mom, who's also disabled and have health issues. Not only that, I'm trying to build a career, an empire. I have two companies I'm trying to build, and I'm doing it all like in every minute that any air that I breathe to come up for air to succeed in these fields. And it's just a journey. I'm the matriarch of the family. My brother left behind two beautiful children, a daughter and a son, and I love them like they were my own. But I'm still fighting for Ronique's dreams. I have a management company, I have a production company, I have two artists I'm managing, and it's just like who's there to help her? I need whose shoulder can I lean
Well,
on? You know,
hold on. Let me ask you that question. Is there anybody in your life that you can run to, lean on?
and most times I feel like no. I try not to put my burdens on my business partners, but they most definitely there. I don't want them to feel like I'm not capable of doing my job and focusing on the things that come across our desks. So I try not to burden them with so much personal things. I have a spiritual godmother, you know, who's there, but I think I don't lean so much of my problems on people because I'm afraid of the judgment or their
Oh, that
response.
Ronnie, stop. That's it, because that's what I was waiting for. Yes, yes, I was waiting for that. I was listening, 2, 3. I was listening because I wanted to hear what is the rationale for not having the support. What is the logic? What is the story that you've been telling yourself that doesn't allow you to allow certain people in just for the purposes of supporting you, right? And hold on, wait. You just said it. You just said it. And I'm not coming at you, right? Because I don't do that. But what I want to do is I want to isolate the logic. 'Cause here's what I heard you say, that you don't like share your burdens or really put what you're feeling on other people because you don't want them to do what? Say that again.
To judge.
Yeah.
But the information I share, which is some of it, they don't seem to understand. Some people listen to respond. Some people don't listen to you at
Yes.
times.
Yes.
They so busy get off what they want to get off their chest to sound sophisticated and educated, like they know that this and that, or show fake love and show fake support, but it's not that support. Well, let me come over here and see exactly what's going on. I'm letting you in my life. I'm telling you my business. Come sit here and witness what's going on. Do some research. If I'm the one in the midst of the trauma, the mess, the drama, why don't you come with a clear, open mind and sit here and help me do some research, find some resources for me, show me. Don't just tell me, because your actions is not speaking much. It doesn't even add up to what your words are saying. It doesn't compare. You know, sometimes we need people to come take them footsteps for us and walk us, grab our hand and say, hey, I'm walking you into this building. Let me look up some of these programs for you to get you some of that help. I reached out to this doctor. I reached out to this therapist, this psychiatrist. Your daughter can go here. You can go here because you need mental awareness. You know, don't expect me to be giving you support 100%, but you giving me 60 and 70%.
Yeah. No, listen. You listen. You in saying what you just said, you've said it all. Jesus put it this way. He said, "Physician, heal thyself," because you have just diagnosed the problem, and you've also provided for yourself the cure. Here's what I mean by that. I want to invite you to consider the possibility that everybody who's your friend cannot be your support. That everybody who's in your circle cannot be the people that you lean on and count on to carry and to listen to exactly what you just said, to listen to and to handle the burdens in the appropriate way. Proximity does not mean that you have capacity. Just because you're around and I'm close to you doesn't mean that you can handle what I have to say. But here's what I want you to know. There are people in your city, in your area, in your extended circle who can handle what you have to say. And so one of the things we all have to learn how to do, I've had to learn it in my own life, is where to put certain people, right? And where not to put certain people. What to give certain people and what not to give them. Everybody can't have parts of the story that they can't handle. And what I want to say to you is, you asked a question that I think is so indelible and so rich and so true. You said, who takes care of you, right? Who supports you? Who is there for you? And that question is valid. It is probably one of the most important questions any human being can ask him or herself. And here's what I showed up today to tell you. I showed up today to tell you that in the beginning, the answer to that question is going to have to be you. In the beginning. In the beginning, hear me, in the beginning, you're going to have to tell people that you love. You ready for me? You ready? No. In the beginning, you're going to have to say to people, yes, I can do this 7 hours, but I can't do it 8. You know what I'm saying? And I know you love them, and I know you support them, and I know you want to be there for them. But in the beginning, you're going to have to carve off just enough space for you to make those phone calls yourself, for you to find the therapist and the counselor you need yourself, because nobody else in your circle seems capable or able or willing or even invested enough to make that call for you. You ready for me? Because I ain't done yet. I'm just getting started.
Yeah, come on.
I want you to be determined to save your own life. Okay. I want you to decide this day forward, I'm about to cuss 2, 3. Cover your ears, Ronnie. That damn it, I'm not dying today. I'm not dying today. Come on now. And I'm not dying like this.
Dying today, I'm not.
No, not today, not like this, and not on my watch. And I'm telling you, this is the day where you decide I'm going to save my life. And I'm going to save my life by telling people, even the people I love, no, I can't do it now. I can't be that now. And that's the way you start to carve out just a little room for grace to work His will on you. See, I believe that goodness and mercy wants to do great things for you, but you won't give it room enough to do its work. Give it room, let it in, open your heart, and you begin with a 2-letter word. You ready?
Yes.
No.
No. No.
Listen, I gotta go, but Ronnie, I speak life over you.
Okay.
I speak life over you. I speak peace over you.
Yes,
I speak joy over you.
Yes.
I speak your dreams will be fulfilled.
Amen. Yes.
I declare that in your life.
I receive
that
it.
That what people meant for evil is going to work for your good.
Yes.
For He knows the plans that He has for you. The plans for your success and not for evil. To give you a hope in the future. And and your dream, it will be realized.
Thank you.
Listen. Let's take a break before we start having church. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Listen, Ronique, wasn't she amazing? Carrying a lot, dealing with a lot. But at the end of the day, you have to be determined that you are going to save your own life, that you're going to do what it takes to make sure that you get to survive, just like you're keeping everybody else alive. Listen, I wish her well. I'm going to continue to pray for her. I want to invite you to do the same. Let's do some Ask Dr. Sean, people. You guys always send me great videos, and today is no different. Let's take a look at one.
Hi, Dr. Sean. How are you? My name is Aaron, and I'm from the Bronx, New York. So my question for you today is that I've had a girlfriend of 5 years. We just recently took a break for the last few months, and within that break, I've actually met somebody new. I've come to be very fond of her. You know, we've developed a great friendship, but also I feel like that she has potential to, to be another girlfriend or so. My question for you today is it possible to be in love with 2 people at the same time?
Okay, from the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx, people. Is it possible to be in love with 2 people? Of course it is. The same way it's possible to be, to have affection for 2 cars or 2 cities or 2 whatever. People have split allegiances and they can divide their affections. Now, the question that you should be asking me isn't, is it possible? The question you should be asking me, is it tenable? Is it survivable? That's the question you should be asking me. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to sort of go down into whether or not the people you're dealing with are into a polyamorous situation, right? I don't even know if you're into that. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, being committed to someone and loving someone is about discovering how you feel about them. And if someone can come into your life and assert themselves and make room for themselves in such a way that you would seriously consider being with them, then maybe you're discovering more about how you feel about the first person than you really are about how you feel about the second. Here's the point I'm making. Let's not even deal with whether or not it's possible to be in love with 2 people. It's possible to be attracted to 2 people. It's possible to want to sleep with 2 people. It's possible to have feelings for 2 people. But what does it mean when you are in a relationship with one person and then someone else comes along and now you are feeling some type of way affirmatively, desirably about them? What does it say about the truth of the first relationship? And I'm saying to you, that's where you need to put your focus in your mind. What is the situation teaching you about the truth of that first relationship? And I'm not being disparaging toward the other sister, the original girlfriend. I'm just saying, what does it teach you about your truth, your feelings about that situation? Because here's how I am. I'm not projecting on you, but here's how I am. When I'm in love with you, ain't no room for nobody else. I don't care who you are. Now, I may think you're cute, and I may think you're attractive. I may even be attracted to you, but you're not about to be my significant other, because I'm in love with this person. You follow what I'm saying? And if you come along and now I'm wanting to be with you the same way I want to be with the other person, what does that say about the truth of my first relationship? That's what you need to discover, right? So you could focus your attention on these two young ladies, or you could really turn all of that attunement, all of that intellect, all of that thinking back on yourself. What are you learning about yourself? What are you learning about the truth of what you like, what you desire? What are you learning about your capacity for monogamy? Huh? Are you even capable of it? What are you learning about that first relationship? Are you truthfully attracted to the new person, or are you idealizing the new relationship because of what's wrong in the first one? These are the questions you need to ask. You know what I'm saying? So, can you be attracted to two people? Yes. Can you be in love with two people? I don't know. Maybe you can. I can't. Maybe you can. And if that's the truth, then here's my last bit of advice. Be honest about that so that everybody knows what the truth is, and grown folks can make grown folks' decisions about whether or not they want to deal with your truth. Okay? I think that's good enough for that. Someone DM me a question. Here it is. I attend a small church, and during the pandemic, I increased our fellowship on social media. I managed our live stream services and our social media platforms. But now I'm burnt out, and attending church has become more like a chore instead of doing something that I love to do. What should I do? Well, this is going to sound terrible, truthfully. You ready for this? It depends on if you're getting paid or not. Okay? If you're being paid to do this, and this money is helpful for the procurement of your life, I would suggest that you continue to do the work, but you also find yourself another ministry where you can have a spiritual life. See how easy that was? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes where you go for one thing may not be ultimately what you get from it. You follow me? Now maybe you went to that church to get spiritual edification and to be fed spiritually, but you ended up with a responsibility and a job that may be paying you well and may be helping the ministry. I say continue to do that, but also now create another place, another silo, another space for you to get your spiritual needs taken care of. Often it is the case that you cannot get your spiritual needs sufficiently met in the place where you also work in the context of church. That's okay. Plenty of people have to have many different wells, many different sources for inspiration and for encouragement and for spiritual growth. And it appears you need to have that too, okay? I would not recommend that you step back unless you feel burnt out. Did she say she felt burnt, or he say he felt burnt out? If you don't feel burnt out, then I would say continue to do the work. If you feel burnt out and you feel like you're just drowning, then yeah, step back. Step back and get your priorities together. And I would still affirm that you also allow other places to feed you, because the place that hurts you may not be the place to heal you. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. We'll ask Dr. Sean after this. Welcome back, everybody. Let's do some more Ask Dr. Sean people, because you guys send me more videos, and I like responding to what you have to say. I got a video submission sent in by Jasmine. Let's take a look at it right now.
Hi, Dr. Sean. My name is Jasmine, and I'm from New York. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 2 years, and I'll be 100% honest. I am not a fan of his family. Their political views do not match mine at all. And, recently we've been discussing kids and marriage. So, as I'm open to the idea of marriage, this is a man that I love. I also know that when you marry someone, in a way you're marrying his family. So my question is, should I end the relationship, or should I just stick it out with him and try to keep the two separate?
Great question. Here's my answer. I'm not sure if you should do either, because I have a better suggestion for you. My suggestion is that you ultimately have some very difficult conversations with him about what it is the two of you believe and how much the two of you can negotiate those boundaries. Here's what I mean by that. If his family believes something that you are diametrically opposed to, and you are out there talking about having kids and getting married together, what happens when your kids spend time with his mama or his dad or his brothers and sisters? You know what I'm saying? These are the conversations you have to have beforehand. You have to have an understanding and an agreement before you can take another step. Before you can decide to leave or to stay, you two have to have some ability to negotiate the complexity of different ideologies, right? Listen, because there's some places, I got sons, right? There's some places my sons couldn't go. Because, no, you can't go over there. Because that's not how we see the world. That's not how we think. And and how they think is fine. I'm not knocking it or nothing like that. I'm just saying, you can't go. As long as I feed you, you can't go. So you guys need to have a real, and I say this to couples all the time, have the hard conversations about religion, about politics, ideology. Now, get clear so that whatever decision that you make about whether or not you're going to deal with something or live with something or walk away from something, you're dealing with information that's going to empower you and give you clarity in the deciding process. You understand what I'm saying? Because people who go into these relationships, into marriages, and have kids and think that it's just going to work itself out, end up discovering that it never does. These things don't just work themselves out. And I promise you, you marry him, have a child with him, and then you bump into the ideology, the politics of his family, it's going to cause a rift and a problem between the two of you. And I've seen so many couples and marriages fall apart simply because of the extended family and friendship circle around them. Because when people are feeding you garbage and people are feeding you negativity and people are feeding you craziness, you tend to end up crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying to you, his family can be out of their minds. They can be bat crazy. The question is, does he know that? Does he co-sign that? Does he agree with them? Is he willing to subject your children and your family to that craziness? Because if the two of you agree that his family has some, off-kilter kind of views, and if he's willing to say to his family, I'm drawing some lines, then this thing has a future. But he's the linchpin, because he's the one that's going to negotiate the conversation, the communication level, and the contact between you, him, and his family. Now, if he's blithely unaware that his family has some off-kilter political views, and he don't know what you're talking about, right? And he don't know why you diametrically oppose, then this may not have a future. And it may not have a future not because you don't love him. Can I say this real quick? Truth, are you listening? This is good advice. You ready? Sometimes love is not enough. Sometimes love is not sufficient for a relationship to survive. I know, because I'm the love guy. But sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes you can love somebody desperately and holistically and just think they're just wonderful, but ultimately the relationship doesn't survive because there are other mitigating circumstances that make love sometimes not enough. Sometimes at the end of the day, you got to have something else. Sometimes you got to be on the same page. Sometimes you got to agree on some fundamental principles, some fundamental views. And inviting somebody into your life who's diametrically opposed to what you stand for is a recipe for disaster. I don't care how much you love them. Because at the end of the day, the fact that you guys contradict each other at the level of your beliefs and your principles, it's going to weigh on the relationship. Not to mention the fact, let me just say this quite clearly, that love changes. Loving somebody with great intensity today does not mean you're going to love them with the same intensity a week from now or 10 years from now. Sometimes love is not enough. Sometimes you got to be in agreement with each other. So have a conversation with him about his family, what he understands, what he sees, what he believes, and what he can accept. And then you can make that decision. I don't think you have enough information yet, because his family is not really the problem. It's how much he's willing to deal with his family, check his family, protect his kids from his family. That's the issue. Let me do one more real quick. All right. I'm dating someone 10 years younger, and contrary to popular belief, we have a great relationship. But our friends and our families make snarky comments about our relationship whenever our names come up. How do I tell them in a nice way that our relationship is none of their business? This is easy. I'm glad I dealt this one real fast. By telling them it's none of their damn business, okay? It's real simple. You ain't got to be nice about it. Just tell them it's none of your business. In the words of Tabitha Brown, that's my business. That's what you tell people. And you don't have to be nice, just be clear. The goal when you're drawing boundaries isn't to be nice. The goal when you're drawing boundaries is to be clear. And then you can be nice. After I'm very clear about what it is, then I can go back and make you feel better about what I just did. I love this show, people. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you, Ronique, for being on the show tonight. I'm praying for you, my dear sister. And listen, you guys continue to have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week, of the day, of your lives. Great things are happening for you. You hear me? Good is still trying to find you. Greatness still wants you. Let it in. Y'all be good to each other, all right? I love you. How about that?